My name is Merve Nilüfer Güldenova, and in this presentation we are going to look at the paraphrasing techniques in reading. Let's first start with our content. First of all, we will answer the question, what is paraphrasing? Then we will look at why paraphrasing is important. Then we will learn how does paraphrasing help students and what are the techniques for paraphrasing. And finally, we will provide examples with explanations. First of all, what is paraphrasing? Paraphrasing is presenting ideas and information in your own words. By using your own words, you show that you understand and you are able to convey this message. Here is another explanation. Paraphrasing is rephrasing or restating information from another source in your own words without changing the meaning. This part is important. You shouldn't change the meaning. And paraphrasing is usually shorter than the original passage. The paraphrased passage is usually shorter than the original passage. So, why do you think paraphrasing is important? It is important because it shows you understand the source well enough to write it in your own words. When we learn a new language, in this case, when we learn English, we read lots of things, and if we understand the texts well enough, it means that we can paraphrase it, restate it with our own words. It is also important because it shows you and your reader, here the reader is your lecturer, that you have understood the source sufficiently enough to write it in your own words. Here you see, to write it in your own words is very important because you cannot copy and paste the same information while paraphrasing. In short, it shows that you are competent in a language. You know the language well and you are able to produce written and spoken materials in that language. So, how does paraphrasing help students? Paraphrasing can be an extremely helpful skill in all sections of the exam. So when it comes to exam, students learn everything because they think that getting good grades from the exam is important and they practice for their exams. So paraphrasing is very helpful in their exams, as well as when writing and speaking in both professional and social situations. It helps students clarify what they mean, to state what they mean clearly, okay? And it allows them to reproduce key information from the exam texts without copying word for word. So, just how useful is paraphrasing and how can it benefit students in their exams? This is the most important question here. Now, let's look at how we can benefit from paraphrasing in our exams. First of all, what are the steps to paraphrase? How can we paraphrase a sentence or a paragraph, or sometimes longer than a paragraph, an essay, an article, or? So, to paraphrase, you need to change the structure of the sentence. It means you need to use different grammar structures, okay? And you need to change the words in the sentence. So, how can we change the structure of the sentence? You should read the original text a number of times and make sure you understand the main ideas. So, understanding the main ideas is important because if you don't understand the main ideas in a text, and if you don't read it a number of times to understand it better, you cannot paraphrase it, because if you don't understand something, you cannot state it with your own words again. You should write down the main ideas from memory. First, you read a text, or you read a sentence, or you read a paragraph, and you find the main idea, or if there is more than one main idea, you write down the main ideas, okay? And you should check what you have written against the original text, and you should make sure you have kept the original ideas and your version is different. The ideas are original, the same with the text, okay, but your version is different. So how can you write it in a different way? We are going to look at it. Okay, these are the steps of changing the structure of a sentence. Okay. What about changing the words? It can be easy to spot, to understand, when someone has copied directly from a textbook. We always understand it. Sometimes students write their paragraphs, but in fact, they copy and paste exactly the same paragraphs from somewhere, okay? And teachers always understand it. We all have different styles of writing, and yours will be different to the authors, to the writers you are reading. Once you understand the main ideas of the original text, then look for specific words. What kind of words are they? These words may be the same in the paraphrased version. For example, the dates, the names of people, the names of cities or countries. You cannot change them. You cannot paraphrase them because they are key to the meaning of the sentence. But there are some words or phrases that can be changed. For example, adjectives, verbs, adverbs. You can always find a synonym for these expressions, okay? Use a thesaurus or dictionary to find substitutes, to find synonyms, okay? And these are the important steps of changing the words. Now, let's look at the steps to effective paraphrasing and summarizing. First, read your text or paragraph or sentence, okay? And be sure that you understand it. Write down your ideas without looking at the original text or sentence, okay? Use synonyms or change the word order of your sentence. We mentioned that there are two ways of paraphrasing. You can change the words or you can change the structure, okay? And finally, compare with the original text or sentence to see whether you are conveying the same meaning. The meaning must be the same, but the words shouldn't be the same, okay? Now let's look at examples by using synonyms, okay? For example, think that in your paragraph or in your sentence, there is a word like asserts, okay? The synonyms can be claims, argues, maintains, or maybe in your sentence, there's an expression like 20th century, and the paraphrase can be 1900s, okay? And again, think that in your sentence or in the paragraph, there is a verb like illustrates, okay? You can use the synonyms explains, emphasizes, clarifies, okay? For example, let's look at the example sentence together. He was able to produce the first motor vehicle in 1900. Think that there is such a sentence in the paragraph. And in the exam, the correct answer choice can be like this. The first motor vehicle was produced in the 20th century. As you see in red, 1900 and 20th century are the synonyms of each other. So, in the correct answer choice, you can see such an expression. You don't see the specific date here, okay? But the synonym is 20th century. You can change the word class. It means you can change the word form. You know that there are 4 forms of words, okay? Noun, verb, adjective, and adverb. So when you change the word class, of course, you change the word order in the sentence. For example, think that in the original text, the verb analyze is given. But if you use the noun form analysis, okay, you change the sentence, of course. Or if the verb create is in the original paragraph or sentence, you can use the noun form creation, okay? And if the verb assume is in your paragraph or sentence, you can use another word class like the noun form assumption, okay? Now, let's look at the example sentence together. For example, in the exam, in the text reading, okay, there is such a sentence. The professor analyzed the data and wrote an article about the result. So here, the word in red is a verb, analyzed, okay? In the exam, the correct answer choice can be like this. The professor's analysis was based on the findings of the data and expressed in an article. So, analyzed is a verb in the original sentence, but in the answer choice, the noun form analysis is used, okay? So, be careful. Different forms of verbs can be used to paraphrase a sentence, okay? What about changing the sentence structure? For example, if the original text has an active sentence, you can see the passive form in the correct answer choice. Or if there is a compound sentence, the correct answer choice may have a complex sentence like an adjective clause, for example. Let's look at this example together. Think that in the reading text, the sentence is like this. Everybody gets together and washes all the cars together. In the exam, the correct answer can be all the cars are washed cooperatively. So here in this sentence, the original one is active, gets together and washes. But in the correct answer choice, the sentence is in the passive voice. And again, get together is given by using a synonym, cooperatively. Okay, here there are 2 different things in the paraphrased version. First of all, the sentence structure is different. The original sentence is active, The correct answer choice is passive. And get together is given by using a synonym, cooperatively. Okay. So, as we have mentioned, these are the basic paraphrasing techniques, okay? As you are A+ level students, you first need to learn the basic techniques because your grammar knowledge and vocabulary are limited for now. But if you don't learn how to paraphrase from the beginning, you cannot improve yourself because when you learn more difficult grammar structures in the future, of course, your paraphrasing techniques will be different, but the basic things are, from the beginning, to use the synonyms and to change the sentence structure. And don't forget, practice makes perfect. So, try to paraphrase as much as possible. You can paraphrase single sentences, you can paraphrase short paragraphs, or when you read a text in your book, in your course books, okay? You can try to paraphrase them. It will take time, yes, sure, but when you practice, you will become perfect. Don't forget it. So thank you for watching the PowerPoint presentation. If you want further information, please visit www.ibu.edu.tr/yabancı diller.